Hello everyone, and welcome to the first UNDAWN Masterclass. We're going to be talking about genes today. I feel like it's something that a lot of people are lacking in knowledge on, and it's super confusing with not a whole lot to help you out as far as getting you the best stuff without wasting a lot. Mind you, I have wasted a crap ton trying to learn what I've learned, and I hope that you guys aren't going to have the same issues, and I hope that I can teach you a few tricks that will help you guys get the best out of your genes and materials committed to it. Now, once you're done crafting a bunch of genes, you want to go into genetic recombination. From here, you'll be able to take a gene that you've crafted and combine it with another gene for a chance of getting a better gene itself on your primary. Primary being on the left, secondary being on the right. For this, you're going to use 1600 silver per roll and 4 recombining agents if you're level 80. So on the right as well, you can see your chances of improvement as far as the stats, or the number of stats that are on the gene itself. Now, this doesn't tell you which stat will be taken or which stat will be replaced. You can also click one of these lock buttons on the left-hand side to add a stabilizing agent to the required resources and lock that stat in if you like it. We're not going to do that right now. We'll do a lot of that later, so don't worry. And we're going to back out, go back to the front page, and then we're going to go down to transcription. Transcription is where you equip your genes that you have. Now, as you can see, I already have 3 purple genes in resistance, superpower, and awaken, but I only have a blue gene in active, so we're going to try to amp that one up. Also on this screen you can see your genetic synergy level. Synergy is a level based on the amount of stats that you have per gene. So if you can tell, I have 3 genes, or 2 genes that are 7 stats and 2 genes that are 8 stats. If I get active and superpower genes to 8 stats, my genetic synergy level will go to level 4. This will increase a lot, and is something you should definitely aspire to. It's hard to get to, so just take your time with it. Alright, so in order to show you guys how all this works, I went super pay to win and bought a bunch of materials and whatnot. We're going to roll this and try to get this active gene up to par. So we're going to go ahead and go into crafting. And then we're on the active gene already. And so what we want to do is pump in those materials. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, go up to 20, see how far we can go until we max out my materials. So that's where we're at. All right, we can make 27 without going over. And here we go. This is part of the time where you pretty much cross your fingers and hope for a purple. Mind you, you have to get a purple stat when you roll these crafted ones off the bat. You can't really create a purple stat through recombination. Or if you can, I've never seen it. That being said, genes are still pretty new, so maybe it's possible. Now, like I said before, and a lot of people have said, the more you roll, the better chance you have of better stats. I just haven't really seen that. I would say it's pretty even split, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Now that we have all those genes crafted, we're going to go into genetic recombination. Okay. Now, the biggest, I guess, error that I see so many people doing is going and using their equipped gene as the primary. Okay, that shouldn't happen yet. Honestly, you shouldn't touch it, and here's why. Okay, now this is a 7 stat gene, my equipped gene, right, my main one, and we go all the way down here to what people call the quote trash genes, right? Your gray 2 stat genes, right? If I go ahead and equip that, look in the right side, right over here, okay? it has a 6% chance of having 7 stats. Okay? My gene's already 7 stats. That means it's a 6% chance that it's as good as it is right now, or just a little bit better. 6%. There is 0 chance of improvement on number of stats. 0. This is a useless recombination and a waste of your silver and materials. So we're not going to use that, and we're not going to use my primary or my equipped gene. What we're going to do is something I call reverse combination. Okay, what we want to do is be smart. Okay, go all the way down to the bottom. Okay, you want to look for ones with blues on them. Okay, that is skill strength resistance of 52. That's a high number, 52. It's not too bad. Skill strength resistance of 55, the next one up. Then critical damage resistance of 7.5, up from there. Straight up damage resistance of 36. That's not bad. We want to be able to make use of those and save them. But what we also want to do is make sure that we're not taking a greater number of stats as the primary and a lesser number of stats as a secondary, not in these grays when we're down there. What we want to do is take them and turn them into greens or blues. So what I want to do is find out which one I like the most. And as I was saying before, damage resistance is arguably the most important stat for defense. So we're going to go ahead and try to get this one up to green or blue. Now, I will say this one right here, the secondary gene, it's pretty useless. It is a trash gene. Damage reductions against animals and humans, we don't really need that. These are NPCs. Who's actually worried about that? So we're going to go ahead and waste that, see where it gets us. It gets us nowhere. It is what it is. Now, we're going to go up to the next one up, which is a 3-stat gene. Now, if you look, you have a 4% chance of 5 stats. That's coming from a 2-stat. Mind you, your primary is always going to be what you go off of. So there's still a 4% chance that this goes up a lot. A 16% chance that it goes up to a 4-stat, and an 80% chance means most likely it's going to gain a stat out of this. That's a good deal, especially because the secondary gene is another trash one. Fester chance reduction, who cares? Let's go ahead and roll it. It didn't work out, is what it is. We're going to go up to the next one. Okay. Now, mind you, your chances increase when the gene rating is closer to the primary or above it. So if you look on the right side again, 7% chance and 67. That's because we're going 2 to 2 rather than 2 to 3 from before. We rolled it and we got a 3. That is not the best addition though. We went from damage resistance to skill strength. Remember that you want to make sure you're using the right stats, because if we agree to this, it's only a 4-point raise and we lose our damage resistance. That's not okay. I'm going to stick with it being a 2. So we're going to go down, grab this next one, and that's a loss. Mind you, this is all RNG, so you will have loss. Now we have critical damage resistance. Very useful. Not damage resistance straight though, so not as enjoyable. And we took another L. Now we're going up into the 4s. You're going to see our chances greatly increase. On the right side, 8% chance of 5 stats, 26 and 66. That's pretty good. Let's see where we go. Nowhere on that one. Literally didn't change at all. Happens. Let's go up to the next 4. There we go. That's something. We kept our damage resistance and we got torso armor. That's useful. Let's go ahead and use that. So now we've gone up to a 3-stat in our primary. Okay. We're going to go up and look at the next one. Critical resistance again. Not as important as their damage resistance. So we're going to roll it. Bingo. That's a big one. We got the critical damage resist and the damage resist. Heck yeah, we're using the new stats. And now we've gone up to a green here. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and unequip that. We're gonna go ahead and review our grays again and see if there's anything that we like. Starting from the bottom and up. See right here on the bottom, we have a 2-stat blue. We got weakness, damage, and we got max armor. It's not the best, honestly. I'm not a big fan of that. The weakness, damage, resistance, I get it. You know, you're protecting yourselves against headshots. In PvP, active PvP, headshots aren't as prevalent as you'd think. Like, yes, if you're standing still in Rat Island and some dude nails you in the face while you're standing still with a sniper, it'll do an extraordinary amount of damage. But that's very, very rare, and you shouldn't be planning on that. Mistakes are made, but it's not irregular. So these blues aren't worth a heck of a lot, and their gene rating shows for it too. Also, their numbers are pretty low. In a blue, I'm looking for 40 or above. Or with the percentage, I'm looking for 7 or above. These are pretty low, so I'm not really excited about them. But at the same point in time, that max armor's okay. It's not terrible. 37 is huge, but you know, not something worth writing home about, but it's useful. Next one down is another critical damage resist. Now look at that, 9%. That's cool. Mind you, this is critical damage resistance, not critical resistance. So you're taking away 9% damage of that critical you've already been hit with. Still not bad though. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll that one. We're gonna go all the way down to the grays again, and here's a 4. Look at those stats on the right side. Now that we're rolling with a 3 against a 4, we have a 5% chance of going all the way up to a 6 stat. 17 for 5 and 78 for 4. So we're gonna go ahead and roll. And we lost. It is what it is. Now we're gonna go ahead and use this 2 stat with the weakness and the max armor. See where it gets us. It's an increase on rating, but look what happened. We lost that critical damage resistance completely and took over the weakness and damage resistance. Not okay. Here's a critical damage resistance of 7.5 and an armor recovery. Not really worried about either stat. The 7.5 is lower than what we already have. An armor recovery, in my opinion, is just kind of useless. So I'm gonna burn it, and it's been burned. Now we're on 3 versus 3 instead of the 2s. So you look at this, another weakness damage resist. So I'm gonna go ahead and burn it. Nothing. And we're gonna keep rolling. Now we're up against the 4, higher chances again. And it's also got a higher rating. Bingo, got something good. Weakness damage resist to 8 though, and only a 2 rating gain. Not useful, burned it. Now here we go, look at this. We have a damage resistance. Mind you, we already have damage resistance rolled. If you read in the instructions in the top right and that little I button, it'll tell you that 2 stats of the same between primary and secondary gene cannot stack. There's no re-rolling there as far as the number of that stat. So what it'll do later is just erase that entirely. So this damage resistance is just a question mark. We don't know what that will really be in the end. So I'm going to burn it. And we made out okay. We kept the 9% critical damage resist and we went up a bunch of rating. I'm gonna go ahead and use this. We also went to a 4 stat. It's useful. Almost to a green on this one. Skill strength resistance of 38. That's pretty okay. And we got another plus. Kept our critical damage resist. Stayed at 4. We lost the skill stat, but it is what it is. We're gonna use this. And now it's green. We're gonna go ahead and make sure we clear out all of our grays and try to get them to greens. Same thing. Health, not really useful. Armor, armor seems useful, guys, but you're thinking about the actual armor that the blue line above your health. This isn't a mitigation armor that like typical games have. This is the armor that is protecting your main health. I don't see it as useful as other stats, so I'm not going to focus on it. There's damage resistance of 35. That's pretty okay. I dig it. So I'm going to use this one. It's a 3. It's low, so it's got a lot of room for improvement. I'm going to go ahead and burn up these 4s. There we go. That's pretty good. We're all blues now. I like that. Now I know we're already green here, but we're running out of grays, so I'm just going to burn them up. That was a big win, 297. Heck yeah. Now we're on all greens, okay? Time to burn up those greens, get them up to par. Now we got damage resistance of 36. Damage resistance of 35. 29. What's this blue have? That skill strength resistance is pretty useful. I like that, but I still would rather have the damage resistance. Even though that gene rating's 344, it's up there. Mind you, my equipped gene is 511, so it's up. It's got a lot of improvement to be made. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one as our primary and go off that. Now, once we get higher and we want to make sure we hold on to some stats, I'm going to go ahead and click this. Now, the lock on the left side will lock that stat in, so no matter what you do when you re-roll, that stat will stay. That'll also increase the chances of improvement because you're holding on to that stat no matter what. Now on the left or on the right hand side, you're seeing the probabilities increase as well because we're using like rating and like stat numbered genes. This is why we did that reverse recombination, to get a good group of genes up, and you're going to see that pay off a lot more later. There's an L. That's a good increase. I like that. We actually took that 9% critical damage resist and added it to our damage resistance. That's super cool. I'm down with it. That was a big increase. Kept the damage resist, kept the critical damage resist, got health. Now we're up to a 5 stat on this one. That's blue. Very cool. That's what we want. Gonna go ahead and unequip that and try to get the others up to par as well. Here's a damage resist of 35. Damage resist of 29. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the 35 and burn the 29. Cross your fingers on this one. These are two of our greens. Awesome. Made it out with a 5. Very cool. I like it. Now we're only down to blues. Now, if you guys are just starting out with genes, these are all very viable choices for you. This one, not as much. The skill strength resistance is still pretty good though. But that's going to be burned by me today. So we're looking at damage resist of 36, damage resist of 35, and then my top one is damage resistance of only 27. It's not very good, even though it's a gene rating of 511. So we're going to go ahead and hold on to that 36, lock it in, go ahead and burn. That was an L. Nuts. It hurts when it gets later, doesn't it? Oh, that's a nice one. Look at that. Look at that. 447. Got the 9% critical damage resistance and kept the 36. Now here's the tough call. Here's a really tough call. We have, in these ones, both stats that I really like. I really like that damage resist, and I really like that critical damage resist. That's super cool. The weakness resistance is pretty cool as well. But my currently equipped at a higher rating doesn't have the damage resist and has no critical damage resist. It's got this leg armor and head armor, which is pretty nice, and you know, okay stats otherwise, but I'm not too happy with it. So what I'm gonna do is run the risk. This is only 447. I'm gonna put my actual equipped gene up on it. Now, we have a 24% chance of going all the way up to 8 from 7. A 37% chance of staying at 7, and a 39% chance of going to 6. Now that means there's a big chance that this is a complete flop and I waste my 511. That's the risky run when you're dealing with this kind of high-end stuff. Mind you, if this happens, of course, I'm just going to keep rolling it and keep blowing until I get it, because that's very important that I get this upgrade. But this is what we're risking. But that is a high probability. It's a almost 1 in 4 chance that I come out with 8 stats and this becomes one of the best genes on the server. That's where we're at. So we're gonna go ahead and run it. Woohoo! There it is. We got the 36 resist. We lost the critical damage resist. It kind of sucks, but that is what it is. We got an improvement. Went from that 511 to a 525. I dig it, but it's not purple, so we're gonna keep going. I'll let you guys know how that goes in the end.